Okay, we're going to look at Aston Villa versus Everton. This is a 3 PM kick-off on Saturday in the Premier League. We'll talk about Villa to begin with. They're 13th in the table. I don't want to say boring, but it's been a relatively boring season, or average season as far as they're concerned. They need an injection of something, you might say, and Robbie Keane is looking like he might join on a 2-month loan deal. So, do you think he can make the difference for them for a couple of months and give them a boost?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously any deal involving Robbie Keane will be a short-term loan deal, so obviously it won't benefit them across the whole season. But what I will say is that if you look at what Martin O'Neill's doing at Sunderland, you see an exciting brand of football there, and you kind of think, like, comparison to Aston Villa, that's such a contrast.
But they wish they still had him, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, Alex McLeish isn't doing a bad job by any stretch of the imagination, but he's getting such a hard time and maybe just hasn't quite got the resources. I mean, he looks a bit short in midfield with Jermaine Genius out for the season, so maybe he want to improve there.
So I would say they've got to be a little bit careful, because they've got Everton in this, obviously, on Saturday, then they've got Wolves and Queen's Park Rangers, so a poor run in there, and they're looking over the shoulder.
Yeah, they can quickly get dragged down with games like that, and teams they should be beating teams around them, so they'll certainly look at this game and target a victory.
And Everton, they lost the most recent home game at home to Bolton. That was a very disappointing result last time out in the Premier League. They relied on Tim Howard for the goals that day, it's not a fluke goal. Landon Donovan came in for that game. A lot of people were saying that he would sort of make a bit of difference. Obviously, on that occasion he didn't. He can't change it all on his own though, because he's obviously a talented player, but he's not played in the Premier League for a while. And only West Brom, QPR and Wigan scored less than them. So they, like Villa, they just need something to get them going.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Everton's traditional source of goals, it's Louis Zaha and Tim Cahill. Now, neither of those are getting goals. And Landon Donovan came in, he looked quite sharp last night. He looked like he could, but obviously, like you said, one man can't make all the difference. No. And they will desperately want more goals, but it's the same old story of not having enough money to get a real quality player in.
It's a big month for Villa and Everton, isn't it, January, I think, overall?
Yeah.
Results and who they bring in.
Certainly, I mean, Everton have obviously got the game in hand at Spurs to come, so maybe they want to push up the league a little bit with that as well.
Yeah, we mentioned this, we are speaking ahead of that game against Tottenham at Everton, so we don't know the result in that one. Okay, so we'll go for a prediction. Villa at home to Everton. I think it's going to be 0-0. Yeah. I think it's going to be a pretty dull game. I think both teams are pretty scared to lose this one. They don't want to lose. This is a game they might go get a point from and be reasonably happy. 0-0.
Yeah, I saw Phil Neville came out on Twitter saying he was so sorry for the insipid Everton performance against Bolton. I think it's going to be another case that's I'm going to go 1-0 to Villa. Sorry.